Call the work session in order. We have all the crew with us today to review these. The council has been provided with a number of reports, traditional for this meeting of the month. Turn it to the floor to ask if there are any questions about those reports, clarifications.
Well, one thing that I've asked, Chief Mitchell for in the past is, and fire department as well, but giving us an update or numbers of needles, Narcan, resuscitations, like that kind of information. I haven't seen those reports. I don't know if you're keeping track of that, and I don't know if that's something that I didn't see it in the other. Look at the. There's one of the documents that's legal. I don't know if it's just labeled PD report, and I did go through. I didn't see it, so if I missed it, I apologize. Did you see it? The Narcan.
You want to accept children?
Is it in the report? But if it's not,
Was it part of the package?
I thought it
If it was, I missed it as well, but I also missed some other items, so I apologize, I skipped it up.
was you might go.
That.
That's in there.
Yeah.
It's in the report. Yeah, it is in there. But I'll make copies right now.
It's
oh, yeah, I have a copy of it.
Okay.
page 11 of the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
PD monthly report.
No, I went through it. I must have looked at it. Sorry.
So,
Could have been in here.
Yeah.
It's year to date.
Oh, okay. Oh. Do you, without looking at the whole report. Are the up, down, staying the same,
As far as the needles are up,
needles are up?
but the overdoses, there seem to be down. So you gotta get a lot of response for overdoses. They got rid of it, and they need to be able to.
No fatal? Are you still?
Yeah.
I heard before that, the Alliance for Positive Health, they, left about 98% of the needles. Is that true, or does that get changed?
What percent, I don't know what they collect for their percent, they take everything that we collect.
I remember them telling me that at, one of the community events. That
Okay.
they
We
get as
collect-
many
collect-
as.
Collect quite a few, but they collect them from us, so they're doing this, what they,
Okay,
exceptional, so.
Okay.
And for, yes, I agree, working on the report for the bikes.
Thank you. You're planning on a report, like summarizing.
We'll put together a spreadsheet for it, processors, not just, if they make contact with somebody. Whether it was a citation, whether it's a warning, whatever the contact was.
I appreciate that. We talked, we have to be fully your area, but education campaign, our last meeting, I don't see it fully in your area, I see it in someone's area. I'm not sure necessarily who that would be. I know it was just in our last meeting talking about signs as well. I don't know if that's the right option. I also don't think we need more signs on sidewalks. They don't find your right to on the sidewalk, but just educate campaign. I'd be happy to push on that as well. I just who's
We're working on that and working.
okay. Great. Thank you very much for that.
so just music on the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Right on,
Yeah, right.
right on Catherine.
A lot of, a little bit confused.
And it's terrifying as a driver. It's
They're hard to see.
they're hard to see, they're fast, and you look one way and then you're ready to move and there they are. And yeah.
We just mentioned in the last meeting too, yeah, about education campaign, but we also talked about the vendors and having them do something potentially of having a note on there, this is unsafe or X. And fill that language. Again, I don't think that necessarily is in your area, but just in general, that is in someone's area that's being worked on. In some form, or that very well could be overstep.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Sure, we can make contact. We have contact with them, they've done place.
We have, a resolution tonight to approve the contract with the youth safety advocate. That contract is not in our. Unless I missed it. But I did not see it. I double checked. I didn't see it, I didn't see 7.125 in documents or supporting documents. I didn't see it anywhere.
Which doesn't.
For the youth safety advocate. Is it in there?
For what it's worth, the changes were very minor, basically the date was changed. The content was essentially the same as that here.
Whatever, remember. You know, so
Just short.
if it could be put in there, it'd be really great.
Yeah.
I'm happy to approve it. I just
Sure.
wanted to point that out. It's not there. So if
Yep.
anybody from the public wants to see what that is.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go hunting for last year's agenda or looking for it. So if that could get dropped in, that would be really great.
Because
No, but it's gonna send it in. Yeah, it's just gonna track it down.
And I can't recall from memory, I know years past, but I can't remember if this is what's going to be approved tonight. Used to come with reports to council about various things, if I'm remembering it correctly. Is that true with this one as well? Like, feedback from the community, feedback from the school, like those kinds of reports, and I don't know, is that, yes, is that part of this contract too? And
They submit them, they submit them to the Lieutenant Trombley.
Mhm. And do they,
There's a report that.
right, like I said, I can't remember explicitly. So I'll take a better look at it when it's in supporting documents, and I know that that was something that had been done at one point, but there would be feedback from the school community. It would be a way to measure how well it's going, or what needs to change or things like that, so I just wondered if,
See what's in the book and that's.
yeah.
Yeah.
that would be good.
Okay.
Do you have anything anecdotally to share? I mean,
My understanding is that everybody's been really happy with them. They've been extremely happy with Officer Clark. Yeah, he's been doing. Been a lot of contact with us and back and forth. Certainly during the slide that we had, everybody was thankful that they were there. They were really perfect being on the spot, moving ways around the school, getting officers around the search the school. We were really happy with that. I think they were happy enough that they requested a third. That's
so my son goes to high school there, that's high school, and there have been a number of airdrop messages, swatting incidents, there are a number of things that have happened. So I know that's required, police department presence. And again, I'm asking you this question, I'm expecting you to have the absolute answer, but I'll ask it in case you know. Do you know how this school district compares to other schools in terms of those kinds of threats and airdrop messages and?
We were, as far as our response to them. I don't have any actual stats for that, but we're pretty, close contact. We get it, we let them know, they let us know.
Are these also happening in other schools too? Are they happening in other schools?
They are.
Is it unique to
But
Plattsburgh?
it's not unique.
Okay, that's kind of.
That was a good one that day, it was, but
Right.
wasn't every school staying by that. Significant amount of schools. On our way to responding to that, we were getting information that other schools getting.
Mhm.
I think the school is exceptional with the response to us and letting us know what's happening. taking our guidance and suggesting stuff that's great.
Thank you.
If we do need to postpone vote on that item, I have to do so. I don't think that they,
No, I'm happy to vote on it.
I think that, when do they need it for the beginning of the school year, correct?
Yeah, they like it must be just.
Yeah.
So they like it must be good there. The only thing they did, like, they did question they were. And that's not for the mayor, they was looking for a 3-year instead of a 1 year, if that was an option, but.
The school is
Is that
looking for
included in
three
this?
years?
The school year is asking if they can do it for 3 years, 1 year, so they, but then go back every year.
Cool.
Was that approved by their board of education?
It was, data approached me about it.
Interesting.
And I'll reconfirm, but I don't think that that language is in this contract.
It is not.
That's correct.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy to vote for it. I don't, I'm not asking anybody to table the item. I just want to. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think we could go up.
I mean, I would be able to do it in the morning.
David Later. That was the reason for trying to get it out somewhere.
Okay, so I'm thinking there's an item with John said, that's the Peter Lumen part. Good one.
Yes.
Okay, oh, why is it true?
That, and there was another item that was withdrawn, which was the college. The city, the counts, the college slash the.
Oh, it's just a- Oh, that was all in our resolution. from John.
I don't know, I'm just finding out for the first time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the conversation, having missing counselors here as well.
Oh, okay. So it's like,
There's-
I have a bunch of updates on.
No, we should provide those updates and I'll also say that, this is not. The email thread that went back and forth, it's a little, I don't know, we've sent out a significant amount of information on these parts to improve, including, the most recent memo by Courtney that outlined individually each park, what improvement was going to go into each park. And the cost, for those improvements, that was just sent out last month. The whole project, which was outlined, based on public feedback, was also sent out last year sometime, as well as updated on the community platform, which is tracking these changes. So it's a little bit, uncertain where the city needs to be on this, considering that we've been sharing information, this information has been readily available to public, and there's still confusion by council on this one. So I'll have Courtney provides another update, but at the end of the day, it's really, I'm encouraging council to continue to stay involved if there's confusion at this point as to what we're doing with the parks, and I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so I just put in some flyers in there for our Custom Live event, and then also our just full event schedule, where most of our events are really starting to pick up now. And that's just for all of you to have for your own personal reference, but I put an extra one in there because if maybe you could stick one up somewhere in your board or school or somewhere, that just helps get some more out into the community. That would be super helpful. Okay. So I thought maybe just based on some of that conversation going around in the email and then the memo that I sent that had a bunch of numbers in it and cost estimates, we could go through that a little bit so that everybody, if that's helpful, everybody had an idea of kind of where we're at, and I can sort of talk about why things are evolving in the sequencing that they're evolving because of the way the project is evolving.
okay, and so I just want to say,
Yeah.
I read the document that you
Oh,
sent. And I misunderstood, I apologize, I did not realize that Blue Map was going to be one of the priorities, so I read all the email communications about the, call it the Fox Hill.
I know, it's like, you know, yeah, I think.
Right, so I mean, I read that and paid attention to that, and then I guess I misunderstood. And I don't know, I don't know what you get me, about why Peter Blumenauth was put after the Fox Hill. That was really the nature of the question, so the emails that were going back and forth, why that was being.
Like,
highlighted.
like why the playground for Fox Hill got awarded first and then Lumet got awarded and.
No, Fox Hill seems to be clear to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna speak plainly.
Yeah, yeah,
That I personally,
yeah.
I feel like the south end of the city really needs most attention. I think that South Acres Park and the Fox Hill Playground, it's really neat. And I'm not, I have no intention of voting no on it.
Oh, no,
I
I
was
know.
surprised that it was withdrawn. I was just looking for a clarification on how, and if that particular part of the update was included somewhere in these packets, I apologize.
No, so let me break
Okay.
it down for everybody too, because sometimes like. The project has had to adapt and timing has had to change a little bit as we've gone through bidding and, you know, getting cost estimates and those kinds of things, so. So can I use this, can we follow along with this
Sure.
together, it's kind of a way to illustrate it, okay. So, I was incorrect, I think at our last meeting, in saying the total project budget for the Parks and Rec project is 2.5. It's actually more, so it's 2.6. And so I felt like it was important to kind of take that and look back at some of the numbers that I had proposed or had outlined to all of you. So in table 1, this is a summary of everything that we've already spent money on for this entire project. So this includes money that was spent on the master plan design, the money we had to pay to actually put that master plan concept into actual architectural drawings that you guys have in your packet there. That sort of show, okay, you know, here's where the wall's gonna move in the bathroom, or here's, you know, how this is gonna get laid out. And then there were also a few, other expenses that have been incurred in the last year. So asbestos inspection in the South Acres bathroom, we had to perform that, to start to better understand the project scope for the bathroom renovations that we do want to do in the barn. We kind of have to do a couple steps before getting to the actual project step. We did do some pickleball court resurfacing in South Acres last summer, sort of one of the very first projects that we undertook. And then of course, a couple council meetings ago, we folks approved the Fox Hill playground, which is actually probably gonna get installed a little bit sooner rather than later. I'm excited. So that's kind of where we're at with everything we've spent so far. We proposed the committee that kind of has been working on this project that consists of Public Works and CDO and a couple people. We proposed all of these projects in table 2 kind of last year as projects to be bid on, or to be designed and then bid on. And we were working off of cost estimates that Spartans and Judith had provided to us in our master plan. We sort of used all these costs to formulate our strategy of how we were gonna choose which projects to go after. And we were consulting community input and, you know, DPW in terms of what was needed. Kind of why we identified the Peter Blumenauth bathrooms as something that needed to be done, because those are getting constantly clogged. Our teams are out there all the time having to fix bathroom issues because of the way the pipes had been designed in that building. They, not to get too technical on everybody, but like basically the pipe went like this and everything just gets
So I didn't know.
clogged. And so, you know, part of those renos at Peter Blumenauth is to fix stuff like that. That's actually gonna probably save us some time and money in the future in terms of having, you know, Justin Jock and his team over there all the time, unplugging like stones and whatnot from the top.
That, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Have I shared with the council before of the clogging issue?
Yeah, the Department of Public Works has shared that ongoing issue.
this project also with Peter
Sorry,
Blumenauth. Oh, yeah.
it's also referred to PD every time that happens as well. So these are things that we try to track down as best as possible. I know that at one point we had cameras outside of most of Penfield Park. And had identified a couple of suspects, kids that are messing around, but because the cameras are not in the actual bathrooms, we can't say for certain that these kids are doing that, but
Is it the same with the Blue Mat building too?
I don't know if we have cameras at Blue Mat, but it's a similar situation.
Yeah, and we've had to essentially close those bathrooms down from time to time completely, because then they just get completely out of service and then someone has to go in. So some of these renovations are gonna address some of those things. We know Peter Blumet's also, it's a great park in a lot of ways, because there's like folks who are wheelchair users or need that accessibility element. There's a lot of pavement there that allows them access to the park. And part of the scope of this project is to redo some of that pavement, replace some of the wooden barriers that separate the pavement from the grass, which are the old railroad ties, and they've got tons of like wood sticking up and nails, and we get called about safety concerns, and so we're doing away with those and redesigning. So we're sort of taking approach of trying to address and make improvements that are going to mitigate the future issues, so I'm doing kind of a deep dive on Peter Blumet just to give you guys a sense of why we went forward with it. But as you can see here too, in the phase 1 projects, we've got two projects in Fox Hill and 2 projects in South Acres. Kind of to your point of just understanding, like, hey, these are parks that are in need of a lot of different things. And we ran into a couple issues with South Acres, which is why this season we don't have any projects out to bid for bathroom improvements. Once we started to look more into redesigning the bathroom, which we do have it designed for, we realized, what's the point of putting in brand new bathrooms if the roof is in terrible condition and the roof's gonna leak? And then it's gonna cause issues for the building down the road. And so I know Mike Bissett was up here in front of the council, maybe in the early new year, sort of talking about a capital spending project, which would address replacing a couple different roofs for a couple different city buildings, and South Acres Barn was one of them. But we thought maybe we would pull that barn expense out of the parks project and have it come out of a different fund, or come from a different place, so as to not take away from maybe other funds for another project. And so the plan for South Acres is to hopefully in a phase 2 of the parks renewal, have more funding come through that we can then address the roof and then be able to address the bathrooms. And so I think to your point, I think internally the city recognizing just the need of and the priority of like where we should be putting these improvements, but also you can see like each one of the parks was getting at least one thing. And I think that was part of our strategy here, like let's try to make one type of improvement in each park.
Courtney, I know it's DPW, community
Yeah.
answer. I know we talked about this, as you said, the roof projects. I believe they mentioned 3. Where are we at with terminating that? If I remember correctly, my notes, Mike suggested we do it, don't do it. We have to decide relatively soon, 6 months later, or is that on the horizon at some point? Your perspective, or can we hold that in mind?
You refer back to that activity, go to DPW. Yep. Thank you.
I'll keep going. Look, I know I'm kind of talking a lot, but it's helpful.
No, this is great.
Okay, great, awesome.
Thank you.
So then we get to table 3, which is the projects that we actually went out for bid on a couple months ago. And so you can see, we went out for bid on Lynette, Fox Hill, Melissa Penfield, and US Oval. They're all pretty much bathroom renovations for construction projects because it's a big priority in those parks. It's what we hear from residents. It's, what's been identified as a need. And so when we received the bids back for these projects, some of them came above what's called like a Wick's Law threshold, and maybe folks have heard of that through other projects. But basically for a municipal building, if the bid comes back above 500K, then we need to take out all of the subcontractors and bid those contracts separately. So it can't be like one contractor and then hiring their own subs if the cost of the project goes over 500,000. Am I explaining this okay? Okay. So what happened was that with Fox Hill and Melissa Penfield and US Oval, if you can see what we got the bid back, and this was the lowest bid for those projects, they came over 500 to someone well over 500, which means we need to go back out and rebid them so that the subcontractors can bid their own contract. The reason we didn't have to do that with Peter Blumet and why we were putting it forward so that we could move that project forward was because it Waste Law doesn't apply. It was the project can be like $127,000. So knowing we're gonna have to take these projects and put them out to bid, what I've been informed of is that it's very likely that we might come back with a little bit of a higher bid. That's just kind of how this process works. I'll likely be able to present new bids to you by the 1st of August, the first meeting in August. And at that point, that's when I think the council has a decision to potentially allocate more funds to this project if you wish to do so. If we want the rest of these projects to happen, if we want the Melissa Penfield project and the Fox Hill Avenue project to happen, because based on some of these calculations and rough costs and everything, we're gonna be somewhere around $275,000 over the total parks renewal budget cost. It could be a little bit higher than that because I'm not accounting for the small uptick in cost when the projects get rebid.
So, the funding source for the 2.6 million has always been 1.6 million from American Rescue, and then $1 million, general fund.
Yeah.
So, I do have a question about the US Oval bathroom.
Yeah.
Construction.
Yeah.
When this information came out to the public last year, we received a lot of emails, from, members of the community. And I don't know if you were included in those emails or if they just came to us.
Yeah.
I don't live in that ward, but I don't recall any support for a bathroom in that location because it's a historic property. Has your office received any feedback from the community about whether they support this or not? Because I didn't see any comment by email for people who supported a bathroom there because of its historic property.
Yeah.
And the second part of my question is, I realize that YMCA is running our athletic programs and it's being run out of the old gym building. That building still belongs to the city, correct? Why can't people use the bathroom in the gym, which is right there? And eliminate this one from our project list because it would be disrupting this historic piece of property. And I did not hear any support for that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought it would be important to bring that up.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I hear your point, I see it, it's a tricky location because of its historic. And the reason, one of the other reasons why we bid on it, now we kind of have an idea of what that bathroom would cost, but we also needed to check with our programmatic agreement that we have with SHPO to make sure that we didn't need to get any checks and balances or studies or things done before we started to disturb the sites, and then found that we are being recommended to conduct an archaeological study of that area. And it kind of then opened up a bigger question of like, okay, well, we've also talked about redoing the playground there, and we've talked about putting a walking path in at the Oval. And so if we're gonna do an archaeological study for this one footprint for the bathroom, should we not maybe look at other areas that we might have to do it and then just do something potentially all in one? And so that caused me to pause and say, okay, we might need to take a slower approach with US Oval and make sure that we're doing it in a way that is compliant with the programmatic agreement, compliant with SHPO because of the nature of the historic property. I did receive, I remember a couple of those really, really vocal residents on the Oval who really didn't want like a sightline from their condos to be in the bathroom, which is totally understandable. And I think that in the master plan, and I mean, there, you know, feel free to chime in. I think in the master plan, the reason the bathrooms were identified is just because of the future and current and future best use of that space, which is to really make it become this hub of sports, outdoor sports programming and field programming, and the master plan also outlined, eventually making more improvements to the field itself to improve playing conditions, and that potentially it could be a place where we attract these larger tournaments, these larger, things that would even go outside of our sports programmatic agreement with the YMCA. And so I think one of the thought patterns behind that was, well, having public facilities that aren't contingent on, another building or, being operated would also help increase the desirability and access. Because right now we put a couple porta potties out there. They're pretty ugly to look at. They're not great if you've got kids, if you use a wheelchair, and that place gets used by kids, and families and stuff all the time. And so I think that was like the thinking of, let's put a bathroom there. And I know that when we were, I didn't actually include, I'll send you folks, I didn't include the site plan for the US Oval in the package there, but the site of that building it's sited in a place where it's not in front of any condominiums, it's not like sitting right in front. I think it's closer to, the tennis court. Yep. That doesn't have anything on there. So anyway, I don't really have a definitive answer to your question, but more like it's something that our department has to continue to think about. And I think we do need to kind of do it in a slow approach with the community to make sure that we're doing something that both the community and the residents want, but also helping for the future of that area. How do we continue to invest in our park and make it a really great place for people to come and have sports and have tournaments and things like that.
So when my oldest son was very young, and we had a rec department that was very robust, he participated in those. And that entire oval was sectioned off all summer, all fall, for events and tournaments.
Yeah.
It was never about it.
Yeah, did they use the gym?
And yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's also part of the gym was also, well, it's still owned, but it was also part of that whole package.
yeah.
So so again, I would have a hard time believing that you're going to have, or we're going to have public support for disrupting that for a bathroom
Mhm.
when we own a building across the way.
Yeah.
Is there wheelchair access into that building?
No.
Okay, so, and again, thinking,
Well, not to the back, I guess, yes, but you have to go to the side door and I'm sure there's an elevator, certainly not, certainly.
and so again, thinking, cost efficiency and, you're talking about an archaeological study, I'm sure we would have to hire someone for that. You know how I feel about that. But being cost effective and more prudent with our money and being able to remove that project,
Mhm.
would redistribute that money back into other things in other parks.
Mhm.
If we were thinking about making it attractive for tournaments or bathroom accessibility, what about the bathroom trailers that are used when the farmer's market is open? Are those also wheelchair accessible?
The one at the farmer's market, I think you have to use stairs, but I'd be surprised if they didn't have a model on the market that had that.
I'm wondering if that would be a better alternative.
Hmm.
So we're looking at it's $678,000 right now, where we can't even be sure if it's really gonna cost that, and then the archaeological and other
Yeah,
studies.
and that one is definitely on hold for this phase, and so, I didn't take that, so that 630, or where is it here, 678. I didn't incorporate that as that in table 4, I've got proposed projects to move forward with, so that oval project is not in there. Because to your point, I pulled it because we need to take a slower approach with the archaeological study, and I think I hear kind of what your points are saying, and that we need to maybe take some more time to do a better community analysis and look at other alternatives and really determine is a bathroom structure the absolute necessary thing or whatever options.
And that's basically a dry bathroom. There isn't going to be it's not gonna be hooked into water and sewer.
No, it would be okay.
Oh, it would,
Yeah.
okay, because I know one of the proposals from AEDA would be a tank. So I remember that from last year.
Okay, I'll show you that I don't know at what point when it was decided that those would become,
So they're gonna tie into water and sewer. Okay.
Yeah. they would,
I think that was a department of discussion as well.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you wanna-
Yeah, I just wanted to remind that, that you probably would recall it,
Yeah.
that we did discuss the design of that bathroom and compared and contrasted having a trailer like there is at the farmer's market, and it was of high value to have a better designed bathroom at the USO Hall because of the historic character, so it blends better. So a lot of thought went into this actual bathroom design.
Yeah, I can share, we have a nice concept of what it would look like if it was, that it has like that historic character to it, but.
So one final question that I
Yeah.
have about this, and I was following the email traffic back and forth about the Fox Hill bathroom construction. Now, this one down here says 920,000, Fox Hill bathroom construction, 267,000 on the phase one. What? Yeah, so what is the difference here? So we've got some money set aside for Fox Hill bathroom construction, phase one, and then the table 3.
So in these in table 2, the phase 1 proposed projects, those are the cost estimates that Bartlett and Hughes put together for us based on when they did the master plan. They looked at all of the things we were doing in the parks, and they went out and they obtained a couple different quotes and then added in some contingencies and then sort of presented to us, here's a range of what we think these projects would cost. And so we used that at the very beginning before we had gone up to bid on anything. We had to use something as kind of a basic so that we weren't just shooting in the dark, you know, that we picked a project and we're like, oh, we just picked a $3 million project. So we were using these cost estimates to kind of formulate that first phase of proposed projects. And so what BNL had proposed is that the Fox Hill bathroom construction would be around $267,000. Clearly, it is a much more expensive project. And that's, you know, how the bid came back, whether that's because of construction costs or as we got further into the design. What we're doing.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm confused.
yeah, no, let me help you.
So Fox Hill bathroom construction, B&L cost estimate 267,000, but the down here says.
Yeah, because when they went out and got some rough cost estimates that just were meant for planning purposes. But then we had AEDA actually design the bathroom, you know, do the site plan, map out all the utilities, actually, you know, which is in your packet there. And then we took that, they created a bid package for us, and then we put that out to contractors, and when the contractors in our area looked at the project, this is what the lowest bid came back out for the project. Yeah.
Why is it so much more expensive though than say the Blue Mountain? Why is this one 920,000?
So a lot of it has to do with the siting of it. So I think if you can picture the park in your mind's eye where the current bathrooms are right now, and they're gonna get demolished, those are really, they're out of the way, they're not very accessible, and so we're reciting, the plan is to recite those. I think there's a map in here. There's a map that will show where the new bathrooms would go. They're being kind of tucked at the far end of the parking lot, closer to the baseball field, closer to the basketball court, closer to the playground. It also would allow someone who is a wheelchair user to not have to hook it across a bunch of grass in order to get to. And so when we recited it, we also had to account for connecting utilities, connecting water line, you know, the site had, we decided that it would be best for that. And I think that also contributed to some of the costs of renting.
For the memorial fund of recognizing I'm probably getting phone calls about this, and I
Yeah.
know Councilor Calhoun has Will the memorial be moved with it? What's the plan for the memorial?
We're on it, some contact, yeah, we're gonna make sure, I know that the daughter will get, I think she wants the plaque back. And then, so we're saving that stuff, and then I think we're working with the family to talk about, do you want it to be relocated, do you want it to take it back? So we haven't gotten that far yet in terms of the memorializing of the building, but certainly be open to, you know, counselor of the board, if you wanted to work with the constituents there to kind of decide what to do or how we want to, you know.
Oh, I was kind of thinking about the bench.
The-
The bench.
Then the memorial out
Yeah.
next to the,
Just,
Yeah, it'll get saved,
yes.
okay.
yeah, no, we'll get, yeah, but we got a special note like in the bid contract.
Every ancestor.
Yeah, yeah. The building, however, will be demolished, it's sold.
And from the email thread that they get pushed. Till next phase, whatever it is. So it may move forward, that may not happen.
The bathroom,
With that,
That, again, that goes back to the funding gap of that 275, that.
Yeah.
You know, look, we'll put it to council, and council can decide if that money can be allocated. To move that forward.
so, yeah, I guess with Lumet being withdrawn tonight, what I would encourage us to consider is to put Lumet back on the next meeting agenda so that we can start that project. The contractors are eager to get going and then I'll be bringing to you the rebids for Melissa Penfield and Fox Hill, along with what the adjusted spending resolution would be. And so, you know, in and around the first meeting in August, council can decide, you know, do we want to approve this extra money, and then do we want to award these bids? And then those construction projects can start in August, and the majority of them will probably get finished in the fall, and then some interior work. I checked with AEDA that, you know, some of that interior work can happen into the winter months, and so the projects might end up closing out in the new year, but they would be ready for public use for next summer.
For me, that was
Excellent, comprehensive.
excellent.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for very clearly
sure,
answering all my questions.
sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else on any other topic? Related to the development?
Question about my bathroom, the bathroom for answered, and thank you for the response to the email. So thank you for asking the questions I had coming up.
Great.
Good job. You know, I mentioned in the thread, again, COVID signs coming down,
Okay.
because,
Yep, it's been forwarded and they'll chip away at it.
yeah, there's just a request of, you know, Fox Hill, I saw them, it's not just Fox Hill. There, I thought,
It's it's across the street, it's everywhere, yeah.
Oh, Julie did bring up the thing about the steps on Parkside. Was that it?
Yes.
Oh.
I did not see, it's not in any plan, so the answer is not this year, but yes, Councilor Bond brought up
Yeah,
steps, I hear it all the time as well, I know Mayor contributed as well. I think you were pushing for the park as the priority, but I know I hear all the time, yeah, steps there, I know they were both in the past. Well, no rumor mill, folks didn't want to clean those steps, or the steps they want to be updated, with fall apart. I would reiterate with Councilor Bond said, let's get the steps back.
were there steps at one point in that?
Yes, there
Okay.
were. It was years, I don't know when they were taking that, it was years ago. I believe there were some wooden steps up there that's, you know, deteriorated over time. And no doubt, yes, it's important, but if we look, you know, when I guess the whole thing, we looked at the improvements to the parks, one is what's currently there that we need to salvage, right? Bathrooms is being critical conversation for all of the bathrooms and all the bathroom improvements. The bathroom is gonna be, or all the parks improvements, the bathrooms are used year round. And so that was one of the arguments for, putting a little bit more weight to replacing the bathroom over building upstairs.
And so I think just like forecasting kind of the future of the parks, you know, renewal project, you know, what I'd love to be able to do is to bring our internal project team back together to start to talk about what would phase 2 look like. And, you know, I shared in a grant strategy memo that we've, you know, been looking for potential grants, that could fund projects. We're gonna be looking to apply for, something that could fund playground improvements in Melissa Penfield Park. And then there's been community groups, and members who've come out and are interested in contributing to parks projects, and so that will also kind of dictate in some ways where we go next in phase two. If we've got, a group of people who are ready to fund something. But my plan would be to put that proposal together and present it to council, around budget season. But also involve all the counselors to provide input in terms of what are you hearing from your constituents about the different parks in your wards, and providing some of those updates, and also the feedback on, how are people feeling about the phase one improvements, and then where do people want to go next?
I can tell you definitively, pickleball folks
Oh,
really want something in Blue Mountain Park. So
Uh,
I'll pass that on to you right
yeah,
now.
I spoke with a woman. Yeah, yes, I know who, yes, I've connected.
And so I told her I would forward that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was helpful to educate her too a little bit on like the costs associated with it, and then she was kind of, oh, that's good to know.
Exactly right.
And well, but pickleball is hot right now.
Yes, it is.
So,
So, I have a couple of other questions. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, somebody had made a donation for a skate park
mhm.
in the Pinville Park.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what happened with that.
Yeah, so the donation was committed, and then we had some conversations. We were connected to a company through Barton and Lejudas, who have designed skate parks, and they put together like a very preliminary proposal of what we could do, but what their proposals were coming back at was like 400,000, 500,000. So 100,000 is going to be a portion of going towards that, but it's not going to cover, yeah. And so I think, again, it's going to be part of the conversation for phase two in terms of, okay, well, we've got this money on the table. How do we take this and use it as a catalyst to maybe see that project? But then I think about the best use of that park, and there's some people that use the skate park, but is that the majority of the use, and how do we prioritize the things that will get used the most? And so it's a lot of like prioritizing and reprioritizing, but so I guess to say the money's committed, but the project is sort of holding pattern right now, but I think it'll be considered for phase two.
My other question is, the city was awarded a grant for, I don't know, 400,000, 400 or 800,000 for the beach. It was covered last year by the media, and I didn't know if we're moving forward on.
Yeah.
We have to do with the sand dunes or something. Yeah, so
Yeah.
is there an update on that?
Yeah, so we are just in the grant administration process right now. We get to submit a utilization plan, a work plan by the end of this month. We're working with Barton and Judas to administer that piece of it. And then the next step from that is going to be contracting someone to design those improvements to the gym. And that's kind of specialized work from what I understand. It's something that we're gonna have to bring in, not just a engineering firm, but one that's gonna specialize in that kind of remediation and restoration of dunes. And so the project will have to get designed, and then after it gets designed, it'll have to then be bid for construction. So we're still a couple steps away from implementation, but it's been picked back up again, and it's moving forward.
Will the DEC have to be involved in that as well?
Yeah, yeah.
What is their role in that?
Well, they're the funders.
Mhm.
I think it's a DEP grant, and then, do you mean in terms of the design of it and?
Right, so design oversight,
Yeah.
final approvals.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
everything that we get designed will have to go and be vetted through them. They'll have to approve the contractors, all that stuff. Yeah.
That's a lot of layers of bureaucracy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait, I have one more question,
Yeah,
which is not on this at all, and I don't even
Sure.
know if it's a question you can answer, or if it's a public works question, because we're talking about bathrooms. The bathroom at the beach,
Mhm.
I haven't seen that on here.
No, that's, yeah, so beach exists outside of, parks renewal project, and, it'd be better for Mike to probably provide the update, but what I can explain just from being tangentially involved is that they're working on design right now. The goal right now is trying to implement that, for next year. In terms of funding, I don't know, Mayor, if you know where the origin of that is, or if it's gonna have to be presented to council in terms of, okay, here's what this is gonna look like. So again, it's moving forward, but it's still kind of in phases.
Right now, it's just in design, once you have design, you go out to bid for grant, for a project like that.
Really like the design of the bathroom at the state park,
Yeah,
just adjacent to the city, and it's really, really great.
the new one, is that,
Yeah, in the state park, so.
yeah,
Adjacent to ours, their bathrooms.
is that the one that's close to the playground?
It's
Okay,
right,
it's got a lifeguard shack in it and, okay. Yeah,
they do, and. Well, thank you.
okay, yeah, thank you.
So, in fact, I know we don't have a lot of time before a meeting begins, but is there a reason why, 71311 was withdrawn? Because I know you've been very passionate about this, you've been a strong advocate for it. I want to go for it tonight, so you know why I'm withdrawn.
So, thank you, for bringing that up. I was gonna explain is Counselor Manette's gonna be on it. I wanted him here to be voting on it. Something more helped out with the bills or whatever the resolution is not gonna figure out on it.
You want help?
I wanted as many, at least those two here.
Right, so it's just going to be reintroduced next.
That's my plan is our next meeting, probably.
Anything else for count or anything else about the resolutions or department head questions? Just giving that there quietly, patient.
So Rochelle sent us all an email about 7,132. Apologizing she couldn't be here, but of course. I'm sure it'll fail through tonight. I'm very glad that this is on the agenda. Oh, I did, where's Chief Mitchell? And I mean, I know we're running out of time to do that. My questions could be saved for when we vote on the resolution item itself, but 7,134, I read that over. The acceptance of the state law enforcement technology program grant fund for the police department. And I just had some questions about, without having it in front of me, I didn't read the document. So I'm going to pull my memory. There is a portion of that allocation that's going to be, for body cameras or no?
So there is part of their program, yeah.
Right, so
We hadn't
what
had,
will that cover on the body camera cost? Exactly.
plus, it's showing 93,000. Cover the remainder from what the grant didn't cover.
Right.
We had, we did have a budget for it, so we were. It else, we could get the grant, shot for the skies, and we could get that covered. It did.
So then the cost of the operation of the body cameras, is that going to be pretty well covered then?
With that,
With this, yeah. Okay. That was my primary question.
okay.
Thank you. So are we going to receive the document for the harbor management again tonight, because I don't know.
It's an introduction and announcement for public hearings.
Right.
So, the document is there, but the public hearing announcement has to happen before.
Oh, so we're gonna get that.
Yeah, so it's an operation of order. It's
Okay,
standard.
just wanted to make sure, because the reintroduction, is that correct?
Not necessarily, there hasn't been a major change, but it's a substantial enough change to have to introduce it. So it's got a new proposed local law number, but if adopted, it would be the local law number 2 of this year.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on that too, I just want to let all counselors know that are here and any others. If there are any questions that come up regarding the harbor management law, please feel free to reach out to me at any point in time.
Is that the email that you sent me?
Yes,
That is the same email.
it is, yeah.
Zero time to meet with you, that
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I'm full in school and then I'm gonna be out of town for a couple of days next week out of college. So it's all
Yeah,
no
sure.
time. And then July 1st, we have a meeting here. Not for you, it's the city manager discussion. Yeah. Because I know you wanted to meet before the vote, which is Wednesday.
Yeah, I was hoping to meet prior to the public hearing and before, providing a revision of the draft local law. But for time's sake, I think it's important to keep it moving, and having not heard any other additional, proposed requests for changes, or opposition to the law, I went with, revising according to the opposition I heard to try to satisfy that opposition, and I'm hopeful that it will, receive favorable votes to be able to move forward. And given that the LWRP, the full LWRP was adopted, which has this as an appendices, I would hope that it would receive a favorable vote.
Given the conversation, any concern with leaving that off tonight, or do you want to put it back on, or what's the? I know that other counselors wanted to be participating in that, and you know, other people who have supported this from the beginning aren't here, so. Oh, I do want to give other counselors the opportunity to vote. Okay,
I'm fine with it being put back on.
Second, I would like to, happy with that. I recognize the need for a block for other counselors. Counselors can have any time. I think that.
We'll agree to have a deadline too.
all right, I'll make a motion that the way you go forward. For this item, I know that if we're waiting to go out to bid on this, and I know the sooner.
Waiting to award, you want to award.
Sorry, we're ready
Yeah.
to award the bid on this, and I know that the longer we wait, the more challenging it becomes to lock in the contractor to complete that work, so.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, thanks, I appreciate the consideration,
Yeah.
I'll look to add that at the end, under new business. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn this work session, motion by Councilor Avery, second by Councilor Gibb, all in favor?
I
Are you gonna recycle that?
Probably I can't, or I'll change the title.
Okay. Do you want to start?
It's on, I never cut it off.
That was third. At this time, I'd like to call the order of the June 20th, 2024 regular meeting of the Common Council in City Plattsburgh to order. It is 5:31 p.m. Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's strongly, please conduct the roll call.
Mayor Rosenberg,
Here.
Counselor Bond, Counselor Avery, Counselor Gibb,
here.
Counselor Talon, Counselor Manette, Counselor Moore.
I will note for the record that, yes, you can see there are 3 councilors plus a mayor. There is a quorum, but all the councilors who are not here have been excused. I've been in with my office and been excused for that meeting. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the June 6th, 2024 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I will now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Avery. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we please ask that you state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers begin 5 minutes to address the council. So yeah, a little bit of formality. Is
So we're
there,
in the hall.
what's the department head would like to jump in? No one in the hall. Yeah, everybody in the hall. I'll note that there is, I will consider, Mrs. Armstrong's, letter emailed to the, council on the passage of the climate action plan as a special, recommendation or correspondence from a special committee that is she's the leading member of the task force. So please enter that to the record. I'll note that the payrolls for the various city departments of the city of Plattsburgh for the weeks ending June 12th, 2024 in the amount of $606,248.58. And that the bills audited by the common council for the weeks ending June 14th, 2024 in the amount of $1,929,777.31. And June 21st, 2024 in the amount of $2,273,380.41. For the record, items 6.1 through 6.4 have been submitted. Those are the monthly reports provided by department head. I will waive or I will not ask for a liaison report from Councilor Manette, but I will ask for a liaison report from the Climate Smart Task Force Councilors Allen and Oregon.
No, comment that we met last week, a great meeting. We do have 2 items on the agenda tonight, hoping for passage. I apologize, I was going to send an email in support of the business operation. We get the number in front of me, but just commenting how it is aggressive and it has been scaled down from the original conversation. We had a lot of thorough conversations on that. And the annual review, where the department heads were actively involved in the process. So I'm hoping for full council approval of that tonight. And thank you, Alicia, for your support and pushing that.
And let's see, our next meeting with climate task force is going to be on July 17th at 5 o'clock at the Public Library. And you can also expect climate smart task force presence at the mayor's convention on July 2nd.
Great, thank you. Ms. Garland, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.125, authorized contract for youth safety advocate, CSD.
Motion made, Councilor Cole, second, Councilor Avery, discussion as they walk in the door, right? So that's perfect timing.
I thought I saw you in the hall. I said, you said, I don't think there's anyone here for public comment. I said, Jacob very quietly, said, probably saw 2 people in the hall.
You
But
work
it
with
was you.
Sharon on the end of one, beginning of the other.
Understood. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thanks for being here. We've always had a great partnership with the school district. I know when they came to us this year asking for a third, said happy to provide it, give the council approval. So always great to have partnerships with the school district and great officers represented in the city of Plattsburgh from that area. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Carried.
Item 7.126, mayoral appointment, climate smart task force.
Motion by Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Gibb. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Item 7.127 was withdrawn. Item 7.128, authorize mayor to attend the NICOM conference.
Motion by Councilor Gibb, second. Councilor Avery, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Mayor Rosenquist.
Here, yes, here. So I'm not used to that. Yeah, carried.
Item 7.129, authorize city beach parking permit fee waived for SUNY Plattsburgh research vehicle for the 2024 and 2025 field season.
Motion by Councilor Gibb, second by Councilor Talon, discussion. Roll call. Sorry? Well, I mean, like, I do, like, just to make a note of this, this is not traditional that we waive permit fees. This is something that we're doing, you know, at the request of this group, but also we just don't want to get into the habit of doing this on a regular basis. There is free parking at the beach. Folks can drop off equipment and haul equipment as normal, but again, it's not, it's, you know, we left it, we'll leave it at the council, make the decision. But again, it's not something, it's not added in the plan.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Carried.
Item 7.130, authorize mayor to sign contract with ASPEC.
Motion, Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Avery. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Carried.
Item 7.131 is withdrawn.
Sorry, my rhythm is off with 3 of the counselors.
Item 7.132, adopt the final city of Plattsburgh government operations climate action plan.
Motion by Counselor Talon, second by Counselor Avery, discussion. I will note that there was a significant amount of work put into this plan, not only by the task force, but by the department heads. It was a very good collaborative effort, to take, some of the more conceptual ideas around climate, action and putting them into practical application in partnership with the department head. So it's been a while, but it was good work that was done, and pretty confident that whatever is in this plan can actually be delivered successfully. Further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Carried.
Item 7.133, travel request fire department.
Motion. Counselor Avery, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Carried.
Item 7.134, authorize acceptance of state law enforcement technology, lead tech program grant funds for police department.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second. Counselor Avery, discussion. Again, significant amount of money coming to the police department for all kinds of improvements. Not only from the technological aspect, but some operational improvements as well, and helping with those operational improvements. $500,000 to any department that we have, it is and will be used wisely, and it will make a significant difference for this department. Further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Avery,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Mayor Rosenquist.
Yes. Okay. Carry, sorry. Here's some, yeah, okay, please. All right, at this time, the city of Plattsburgh will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in Common Council Chambers, 41 City Hall, Place, Plattsburgh, New York. We hear public comment on proposed local law Q4 2024 that will add chapter 177 harbor management to the city code of the city of Plattsburgh that was prepared and circulated by the Department of State that potentially affect state and local agencies in accordance with the requirements of Executive Law Article 42. The public hearing date is set for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. The supporting local law is being passed out to council. At this point, a copy of this local law will be made available, correct? Website and or the office and or the library
What's on the website?
and all of the above.
And then some councils are getting electronic copies.
Great, perfect. Perfect. Good. At this point, I'd also like to take a motion to waive Rule 4 to introduce a new item under new business, particularly where it comes to spending, the reason and justification for spending. This item here does require spending or the execution of a bid that will require citizens. Motion by Councilor Avery, second by Councilor Gibbs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't have the language of it, Scott. Do you have the language of it? Yeah.
It's a long, big for my partner, we call it morning.
Yeah, please. Yeah. This is great. Make a motion to award the construction project for Peter Blumet Park site and bathroom improvements. And I'll read the content of the resolution as well, so we can know what we're voting on. Now therefore be it resolved in accordance with the request. Therefore, the common council award the Peter Blumet Park site and bathroom improvement projects to remaining building contractors for a total of $327,000. The contractor would be Remain Building. The services would be to improve improvements in bathroom building and site improvements. The rate as noted is $327,000. This is a contract amount, and it's funded through the $327,000 from the Parks Renewal Project Fund, which was allocated, I believe in 2022. The period of the project will be between the summer of 2024 and the fall of 2024. This is not a renewal. There are no previous year's costs, and it's not anticipated that there will be future costs to the site. Make a motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Avery, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Avery?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon? Yes. Mayor Rosenquist?
Yes. Carried. Is there any new business to come? Is there any more new business to come before this council? Seeing none, there is no need for an executive session. I'm not taking a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilor Talon, by Councilor Gibbs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Now adjourn.